Hello everyone and welcome to Real Trends episode 7. That's right, it's almost been 2 months and we're almost to 10 episodes of this series so far. Thank you for everyone who has been supportive of this up to this point. It's been so much fun and it's only going to get better. I am your host Geoff Exstrom and proud to bring you another episode of Real Trends. Plenty of stuff happened at the box office. Spider-Man dominated again. Really didn't have any competition, but this week they might. Let's get right into it. At number 1 in the box office this week for July 12th through the 14th was Spider-Man Far From Home. Again, second consecutive week they're at number 1. Took a big dive. They are at $45 million for this week. 51% drop. Of course, last week they had that extended opening weekend, which they made $185 million. But really, with nothing new coming out that challenged, it's thrown at number 1. They do come in with a solid week at $45 million, and they're up to about $845 million worldwide. At number 2 is Toy Story 4. They are at number 2 for about the third straight week. They brought in $20 million, aside from the $33 million they brought in a week ago, so that's about a 38% drop. Again, they're still going to stick in that top 5 spot with really no big animated feature film coming out, except for this week, Lion King, so we'll see how much of a dive it takes. But Toy Story 4 at number 2. Coming in at number 3 and marking a new movie in the top 5 this week is the horror movie Crawl. Made its debut this weekend against the Juggernaut in Spider-Man. It came out with a solid showing, $12 million, a little more than what Shawn picked a week ago, which was I'm even a little surprised. But they brought in $12 million total. Their budget was $13.5 million, so they're going to make some profit on that. Crawl at number 3. Coming at number 4 is the comedy Stuber starring Dave Bautista. They brought in $8 million, probably a little less than they would have liked, but still come in with a solid showing considering how much of a hill they had to climb with Spider-Man and then Crawl. So solid week for Stuber at number 4. Rounding out the top 5 is Yesterday. They brought in $6.7 million. They brought in $10 million last week, so a 33% drop, but the Danny Boyle film still holding strong at number 5. And that's going to wrap up this week's box office top 5. And now, on to the real trend of the week. And now on to the real trend of the week. This week is going to be centered around the remake of The Lion King. With that in mind, we're going to take a look back at some classic animated films that Disney made into live adaptions and kind of compare them in the box office and kind of give us a little preview of what The Lion King will make come the box office this weekend. Now, there are 12 live adaptation remakes that Disney has made, but we're just going to take a look at the top 5 in terms of the biggest grossing films worldwide. At number 1 is Beauty and the Beast, the 2017 remake starring Emma Watson. It brought in $1.2 billion worldwide, while they brought in $504 million domestically. At number 2 was The Alice in Wonderland starring Johnny Depp, made in 2010. They brought in $1.025 billion worldwide, while bringing in $334 million domestically. At number 3 is one of the more recent remakes. It was The Jungle Book, directed by the Lion King remake director Jon Favreau. It brought in $966 million worldwide, while bringing in $364 million domestically. And coming in just this spring was Aladdin in 2019, starring Will Smith. They brought in so far $961 million worldwide and $331 million domestically, and still climbing. Then rounding out the top 5 is Maleficent in 2014, starring Angelina Jolie. It brought in $758 million worldwide, while $241 million came from the United States. But when we bring all those 12 films together and their total grossing numbers, we averaged out across 12 films, and it brought in $568.5 million was the average amount of money that each Disney remake brought in. And with that in mind, kind of what my prediction will be for The Lion King is that they will make north of that by a couple of million. Talking about it, it seems as though the movie is going to have some really good effects, but the story really isn't reimagined much. But still, with it being such a classic, it will bring in a lot. My guess is going to be between $750 and $90 million worldwide, while bringing in about $500 million domestically. Just so special to us here in the United States. A big chunk of its profit will come from the domestic market. Now with that, on to Shawn's Pick of the Week.
Welcome everyone to Shawn's Pick of the Week. This one, pretty excited for, alright? We got Lion King. Alright, we got a special guest today. And it's kind of funny watching him try to handle it. It's his first time handling it. But yeah, we got The Lion King, and it's the first live-action adaptation of it since the 1994 animated film. It's expected to make about $200 million in the domestic box office. That's more than what Spider-Man did. So I would think they would do less than, a big Marvel movie, but it's also Lion King. All the older guys have seen it, and all the kids really are going to want to see it. Recently, Aladdin opened up for $91 million, and that was the last live-action Disney movie that was made, and, by all means, it was great, but, only $90 million. So, we'll see. It's supposed to be kind of filmed and seen differently than any other movie we've seen, like Avengers was all IMAX, but this one's supposed to be different, kind of a VR, like you're actually there type feeling. So we'll see what it does, but we do have a special guest just specifically for this movie. John, if you want to bring her over. It probably would have been better if this was Jungle Book, but we're like, hey, live action animal movie, so we got a 9-foot Doomerals boa. Her name's Tina. But yeah, she's our special guest today as we're filming Real Trends. But Lion King, it should be a good movie. I urge you all to go see it. Same storyline, same everything. Just, really nice voice actors and really good visuals. So that's my pick of the week. We'll go back to Geoff Exstrom, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Thank you, Shawn, for another pick of the week, including the special guest Tina the Snake. Really, really cool. If you haven't seen something like that ever before, it's really cool. But that's going to wrap up another episode of Real Trends. It has been episode number 7. Of course, big thanks to producer and on-screen talent of Real Trends, Shawn Carson, and our special guest, John Harbles, for handling our special guest, Tina the Snake, today. Otherwise, that's going to wrap things up for another episode. Of course, as always, like, subscribe, and comment on what we could do better, or any ideas of any new segments or anything that you would like us to do. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. It's been real. I'll see you at the next trend.